Hello and welcome to LeoCode to sharing HTTP request data in Angular. This is a simple example of storing and sharing data between multiple components. In this project, we have two pages that each one has own components. And also we have a shared component that we call sidebar. When I refresh the page, two HTTP requests are sent. That means each component has own HTTP request. One of them belongs to home component and another one for sidebar component. And when I go to users page, a new HTTP request gonna be sent too. And the data of this component is different. It's because of the page number that we have already set as 4. Alright, now let's go back to home page. If I click on next button, it's gonna increase page number and I will have a new HTTP request that new data gonna be shown inside of the component. The point is that the data of the sidebar is still old, and again, if I go to users page, I will have a new HTTP request with same data that we already had. Alright, let's jump into our code, and here is my service file, and I have get users that each component calls it to get data from backend, and I remove it and define read-only data dollar that equals this dot HTTP dot get method, and the data type of my get method is data model. And inside of my data model, I have items and total. And items is an array, and the data type of array object is user model. So inside of my user model, I have avatar, first name, last name, email, and ID. So now I need to add this that endpoint that I have defined it here, and some options like headers and params. In this case, data dollar gonna be subscribed directly from components, and that's why this dot headers not gonna work. And I need to comment these lines and define headers and params in another way. So outside of my class, I'm gonna have const params that equals new param, HTTP param, and I'm gonna set page. The value of the page is 1, and also I'm gonna have size, and the value of the size is 5, and also const headers, and it equals new HTTP headers, and I'm gonna set token, and the value of the token is the string, the code that I had here. Alright, I need to add the pipe, and inside the pipe I'm gonna have share replay, and share replay is the method that I'm gonna share all my data between the components. Now let's just get into sidebar component and replace and get users with data dollar, and that's it. And because of subscription that I'm gonna have inside my HTML, and I'm using async pipe, and there is nothing changes actually. So, and inside my home, actually I don't have anything here. In my component user list, I'm gonna change get users to the dollar, and also I need to comment these lines because I don't need them, and also these lines, and another component users, and again replace get users with data dollar, and again I comment these lines, and inside of sidebar I think, yeah, we need to just comment these lines too. Now just let's check the result, and we have a problem here, and it's because of the using page inside our HTML, and so we get error, and I need to uncomment these lines here, and now the code works perfectly. So in same data, sending HTTP request just once, and if I go to users page, I have the same data again, and just one HTTP request, and when I go back, it's the same again. To see more results, actually I can change page number, change it to number 2, and when I refresh the page number is 2 and the data is changed, but same data between the components, and just one HTTP request, and the data is shared between the components, and this is all we wanted to have. As exception, we know an event or something changes the data in backend, like pagination that I have already implemented. By clicking on next or previous button, I need to send HTTP request and get new data, share it between components. So to handle this one, first of all, I need to do some changes in service file. So I need to add read-only trigger dollar that equals new replay subject. Actually, trigger gonna carry a data that the data type of this data is page and size. So I'm gonna define an interface outside of my class, and here I'm gonna have interface, and it's gonna be called pagination, that it contains page, and the type of the page is actually is number. Oops, sorry. And also I'm gonna have a size, and again it's a number. All right, and I'm gonna set data type as pagination. All right, so here I'm gonna cut this code and add this dot trigger dollar dot pipe, and inside of my pipe I'm gonna have start with. The start with is about initialization, that whenever I just call and trigger, it's gonna set default data as page 1 and size 5, and then I'm gonna have switch map. So inside of my switch map I'm gonna have, actually I need to just add it, and inside of my switch map I'm gonna have data, and the data type of my data is pagination, and then I'm gonna define my params as const params that equals new HTTP params, and I'm gonna set page. Actually, I need to remove these codes because I don't need them anymore, and also this import line. And then I need to just uncomment these codes. It's about the headers, and set page, and the value of the page is data dot page, and also I'm gonna have set size, and the value of the size is data dot size, and then I'm just gonna paste my HTTP request code, and I'm gonna return it and return the value, the data that I get from backend, and also I'm gonna add this dot headers here, and then move the share replay outside of the switch map, and it's gonna be inside of the map, trigger.map, and then actually I need to just remove the pipe and add comma over here, and that's it. Actually this is all about it. So let's just check the result and refresh the page, It's the same data, one HTTP request, and users page, it's same data that we have already done. All right, now just let's add a method that we call public reload, and it gets data, and the data type of the data is pagination, and the type of the method is void. And inside of the reload, we have this dot trigger dollar dot next that we are going to emit data each time we call reload. Now let's get into our user dash list component and uncomment our commented code lines. And the last one. And now I need to replace get users with dot reload, and I'm gonna pass an object that it contains page, and the value of the page is this dot page, and also I'm gonna have size, and the value of the size is this dot size. And also I need to just remove this dot data over here, and I'm gonna uh, repeat this code line instead of this one. And now let's check the result. And when I refresh the page, one HTTP request, clicking on next button, again, just one HTTP request, and data that I get from backend shared between the components. And as you can see, it works perfectly. And it's a page 5. And when I go to users page, it's the same data, and there's no problem over here. And I test my code again and again, users page, home page, and click on next button. And each time I click on next button, it increases page number. It's page 3, 4, and also I have page 5. I think I have missed something. So when I go back to home page, and it's page 6. Oh yeah, there's a problem here, and because component initialized and resets everything. So yeah, when I click on the next button, it's page 2. So there's a problem here, and I need to fix it. So let's go back to code. Inside of my user list component, I need to pass page and size from trigger dollar inside of my service to my component. And so I'm gonna have this data service that trigger dollar that subscribe, and I'm gonna pass data. And inside of the subscription, I'm gonna have this dot page, and that equals data dot page. And also I'm gonna have this dot size, and that equals data dot size. And there is an error here. Actually, there's an error here. It's because of the read only. And to be honest, you can just ignore the size because it's static, but actually you can just make it dynamic, and you can change the size each time that you want. And because of the using subscription inside of TypeScript, I need to just unsubscribe it when the component dies. So I define private subscriptions as subscription from RxJS library. Then I'm gonna initialize it inside of the constructor. And here I'm gonna have these subscriptions equals new subscription. And then I'm gonna have const variable as subscription trigger equals my subscription. And after that, I'm gonna have added two subscriptions as this.subscription.add subscription trigger. And then I'm gonna unsubscribe it inside of the engine destroy lifecycle hook. So I'm gonna have engine destroy, and the type of the engine destroy is void. So inside of the engine destroy, I'm gonna have these.subscriptions.unsubscribe. And I need to implement engine destroy to my class. And this is all about it. We have done what we wanted, and let's just check the result. And yeah, refresh the page and click on next button. It works perfectly. New data shared between the components. It's page 4. When I click it, page 5, and go to users page, and that same data, and go back, there is no reset data. So I click on previous and next button, there is no problem, and everything is work perfectly. I hope this guide was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. See you next.